Ok, caballeros, ustedes recibieron sus instrucciones. Mira, aquí está bien, aquí no. Mira, aquí está bien, aquí no. De la cintura para arriba. Yo quiero una pelea limpia. Escúchame, cuídate. Listos, vámonos.
Tony Weeks giving the instructions in Spanish, but we pretty much know what he said.
Right?
Protect yourself at all times.
Well, very proud of Tony for learning Spanish to deliver those instructions in Spanish, and it's great when a referee can speak to the fighters in their native language.
Round 1 scheduled for 12 for the IBF WBA Featherweight Championship of the World. The challengers in the blue trunks, the champion Juan Manuel Marquez in the black trunks with the red trim. Now, Rich, how does the champ usually come out in these fights? He was a little tentative that last fight, obviously.
Yeah, well, he was almost blown away in that first round by Manny Pacquiao, of course, but usually he uses this first round as a kind of a study hall. He has a fine jab. He holds his hand up very high, almost to the top of his head, left hand out in front of him, and he'll often hold it very far out in front of him. That's kind of a trait of the Nacho Beristain gem, and so he usually... Actually, he's starting a little quicker here than he normally does. He's right down to business. Maybe that's because of the Pacquiao experience, Alan.
I would think so. That'll get your attention when you're dropped 3 times and you're as great a fighter as he is. Trying the combination there, starting with the jab. I would think the more nervous fighter has to be Orlando. All the pressure he's put on himself about this being the fight of his life, and it absolutely is. And if he's not ready now, he'd have to go back to the back of the line and start all over that long climb he had to get this chance.
You know, when a guy's got 8 losses in his career, you got to walk in and feel fortunate to get a world championship fight, especially on a stage this big. And but he's certainly deserving. I mean, there's nobody in that weight division that deserves an opportunity to fight for the title any more than Salido does.
He is the mandatory challenger. Oh, that left hand just about did big damage from Marquez. You got to watch him on the counter punching, folks. That's his specialty. If you leave him a little opening, he's going to pop you.
Well, Salido hasn't lost a fight in 3 years, Lester, so your point is well taken there. He's beaten good fighters, so he deserves a title opportunity.
And he's not going to be intimidated either. You can see he's very calm in there, and he looks confident, and he's not going to get too big of a hurry. He's not out of his element here with Marquez. He's been in there with so many good fighters that this is another day at work for him.
Some fighters, when they start out earlier in their career, they face those names that perhaps are mismanaged early. It dooms them. It ruins them as fighters. But
yes.
In Salido's case, he used it to his advantage to learn.
And he's using his trunks to his advantage. He's got more logos on there than a NASCAR driver. So he's making some extra cash tonight.
I bet it wasn't much cash, though.
No, probably not. I don't know how much cash Rigo's taco stand has.
That's what I'm thinking. It might have been a trade.
This is serious business, but we always have fun.
Dozen tacos a week.
Yeah, we're having fun. There's a counter punching from Marquez.
It was a nice body shot by Salido, too. Right,
he went downstairs.
Right before he got countered.
Yeah.
That's a problem with Marquez. Every time you hit him with something good, he hits you back. He's such a great counter puncher.
Tiempo.
That was a pretty slow round for these guys. The crowd's booing them, but they'll heat it up. Trust me, it won't be like this the whole time. Let's give them at least 1 round to get going.
Buen trabajo, Orlando. Sabe que se puede ir a la lona en cualquier rato.
They're telling me he's doing a good job.
Okay.
Ahí va el agua. Oh, yeah. All right.
Ahí va a echar el agua.
Izquierda, derecha o per izquierda.
No te quedes
Telling Juan to use his left.
Tranquilo.
Seconds out.
Very calm over there in the corner. These guys have been together from the beginning, Nacho Beristain and Juan Manuel Marquez.
Nacho's quite an inspirational character. He has this demeanor about him because he is one of the great gurus of boxing. Reminds you of Eddie Futch and those type trainers that they see it in a different light and they have such a talent for it. He keeps his fighters ready to go. We're round 2 scheduled for 12.
And one of the things that I enjoyed was when Marquez fought Manny Pacquiao, Alan, was the fact that here was Marquez with Nacho Beristain, Pacquiao with Freddie Roach. I mean, it was a beautiful trainer-fighter matchup.
There's a left hand from Marquez to initiate the action. Orlando's very cautious.
You know, one thing Nacho has done with his fighters and kind of broken a mold with Mexican fighters is that he teaches all of his fighters to use that jab. And you can see that Marquez uses it very well. And he uses it to set up his right hand. He comes back with that hook. It's something that for years fighters from Mexico just didn't use. Now all of a sudden you see even Marco Antonio Barrera use it to beat Nassim Hamed. So, you know, Nacho's probably one of the biggest teachers of the jab in Mexico.
Orlando trying to go to the jab. So far, look at that counter punch. I mean, it's so quick right back at you. And you can see Orlando's well aware of it at this point.
Boy, how many times did Manny Pacquiao walk in and just tattoo Marquez and then pay a huge price for it? It happened over and over again in that fight.
Almost every round since the first.
I felt really bad for Robbie Peden when he fought Marquez. He was actually, after the 8th round, vomiting in his corner. It's the first time I'd ever really seen that in a fight, but Peden went back to his corner and just started throwing up from the tremendous body beating he took from Marquez in that fight.
1 minute left, round 2 scheduled for 12. The champions in the black trunks with the red trim.
Marquez really hasn't started with the body yet in this fight, but I bet if he doesn't go there sometime soon, Nacho Beristain, there he goes. There he goes. Nacho will remind him of it in the corner.
Big punches. Orlando landed a little jab inside there. I think Salido's tasted a little bit of the champion's power right now. He's a little bit tentative, but he's gonna try to throw to the body if he can.
One of Salido's problems is when he does throw and he does land, he just stands there in the middle.
Yeah.
He allows Marquez to counter him. He's going to have to hit him and get to the side, or he's going to have to close the gap and just tie him up. It might be to his benefit as Marquez being a counterpuncher, just to hit him with a combination and try to tie him up. But the problem is he'll rip you to the body if you try to tie him up.
Crowd getting restless here. Good right hand from the champ.
No.
That's a slip.
Yeah.
Might have been a slip, but I think there was a nice little hook landed there somewhere.
That's right. I agree with you.
We'll take a look at it probably.
No knockdown.
¿Te resbalaste?
Sí.
Vamos bien, mete aire. Que no te presione la gente. Tú tranquilo, el trabajo lo estás haciendo bien. No estás cayendo en su
You're
juego.
doing fine. You're doing the right things.
Es una pelea de 12 rounds, acuérdate. Sí. Está perfecto. Después de 3, 4, hacemos otras cosas diferentes.
Trabaja a la izquierda, a la izquierda, a la izquierda, a la izquierda y para a tu derecha para que pares golpes.
Left,
Estás trabajando
left,
bien,
left,
no te
then
desesperes.
move.
El público al rato se le va a su trabajo.
Sí. El público no.
Let's take a look. Salido moving forward, lands the
Seconds
right.
out.
Marquez right back with the jab. He will even counter with a jab, and then Marquez gets aggressive on his own. Marquez is also comfortable in leading, and he's spent much of this fight leading.
Round 3 for the IBF WBA featherweight title, held by Juan Manuel Marquez, who has not lost in his last 14 fights. And I think for Orlando to have a chance to beat him, he's got to let himself go a little bit, and that's always difficult against Marquez because he makes you pay such a high price, as Lester was talking about.
I think Salido's getting a little more tentative as the fight goes. Every time he gets hit with those shots, it makes him a little more hesitant to step in than he was earlier.
Well, he's going to have to close the gap. Well, Marquez will do it for him. Like right there.
Believe me, the fans were booing the action in round 2. This fight, compared to the fight when Derek Gainer fought Marquez, this fight is like Zale Graciano compared to that one.
Well, Derek Gainer is certainly not known for war rings.
Oh man, I don't know what
ring wars. Excuse me.
He certainly didn't show up to fight Marquez that night.
Well, I think there's a lot of people are happy Marquez put Gainer in his place. So he's just not a very exciting fighter to watch.
That was very boring, to say the least. Oh, I think I fell asleep. Orlando very cautious. Oh, trying to fight on the inside there. That's what he's going to have to do, but not much damage to the champ.
Well, Salido held his own in there in exchange, though.
He sure did.
He's got some nice hand speed to fight with.
I think he's a little tight. There you go. Good inside work from Salido. Marquez steps back out of it.
Now he's trying to jab with Marquez. Got a good jab, Salido does. Nice and long, quick. There you see it. Sets up his right.
Slipped a right in there that time. Oh, that's a powerful punch.
Yeah, Marquez is loading up with those right-hand leads.
Oh, boy, he did. He really loaded up that and he just wound up and let it go.
About 40 seconds left in round 3. A lot of gloves slamming together there.
Fight has been fought almost entirely at long range.
Very unusual for two guys from Mexico to fight each other from the outside.
Oh, good body punch.
You usually see them step in there, lay their head on the other one's shoulder or something, and just start digging the body, or at some point they start fighting in close quarters.
La derecha, no tienes que tirar izquierda, derecha, los rounds
vas ganando,
pero muy bien, estás haciendo tu trabajo bien.
Ahora sí puedes empezar a hacer el trabajo, pero con pasos laterales, así como te saliste ahorita. Muy bien, te saliste, si lo dejaste descuadrado. Ese es el trabajo que hay que hacer, que él tenga que moverse para buscarte, que no te esté esperando por enfrente. Ahí te va el agua.
Él apuesta a eso porque aguanta y es fuerte. Por habilidad, tira sus combinaciones y...
No se agacha de tratar de levantar los dedos, pero
throw your combinations, Juan. Keep throwing your combinations.
Porque se agacha y levanta.
Tu mano siempre aquí. Siempre aquí, vivo. Tu cabecita abajo, no te eches para atrás.
Champ rises first out of his corners. We head to round 4. Not quite the fireworks I expected with two Mexican fighters going at it, but apparently Salido's corner wants him to keep moving and stay away.
Well, these two guys can both brawl, but they're both technicians, and they're electing at this point to keep it a technical fight.
Yeah, the problem is when either one of them starts to brawl, the other one's a pretty good fighter in front of them, and so it's a little dangerous to be brawling this early in the fight. Salido's going to have to do something to get back into the fight, though, because I think I'm like you, Rich. We both got him down 3 rounds to 0.
Actually, I gave the last round to Salido.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I thought he did enough to win the round. I thought it was pretty close. At least I thought it was his best round.
You got a little closer than me then.
29-28 on my card.
Yeah, he's been competitive every round, but he just getting out hustled in the first couple of rounds.
Marquez's right hand is going to be the weapon, looks like, because he keeps landing pretty hard shots with it. Working off the jab, the counter, pushing Salido back. Well, we could say that Salido's certainly showing a lot of respect for the champion at this point, but he's going to have to do a little bit more. He probably won that last round, his best round. The crowd let him know about it. Oh, good body punch. When they get in there, it gets nasty, doesn't it?
Yeah, you know what? Salido's very calm in the exchanges. He doesn't rush in. He just stands there and counters when he gets the opportunity. He's really a very good fighter as a challenger. He's not overmatched at all here. He's willing to get in there and exchange.
Rare to see Marquez so wild with a miss like that.
Yeah, it's way over the top.
Yeah, Marquez is punch stat numbers in this connect percentage against Pacquiao was unbelievable. He just doesn't miss much.
Fighters working in the center of the ring. Round 4 scheduled for 12. Salido missing wildly with his right hand and being countered by Marquez. Good combination to the head there without any response from Orlando Salido. Salido's in the blue trunks, in case you're just joining us, challenging Juan Manuel Marquez. This fight has been almost totally fought from the outside. That may be what Salido's game plan was going in anyway, because that's currently what his corner's been emphasizing. Final seconds, round 4. Boy, you tell me who won this one.
Well, that last little right hand may have given the round to Marquez in the judge's eyes. You never know. Pretty close round.
Más que se cumple ahorita lo que dijo, me voy a mover, abusado con la reacción. Y tira, en vez de derechas, cámbiaselas a Open.
Hay que salir con las manos arriba. Acuérdate de salirte para un lado para que contragolpees. Para cuando se quede el descuadrado, empiezas a golpear. No bajes mucho el golpeo abajo, vete arriba, arriba. Está bajando sus manos, él se está desesperando y por ahí está tu golpe. Sobradito el golpe, sobradito.
Your hands. Don't drop your hands.
Este round lo ganaste ya bien.
El gancho, empiezas over, derecho, gancho izquierdo y derecha. Y ya, y muy vivo. Tú eres un peleador inteligente que puedes resolver cualquier problema que venga de allá.
Nacho Beristain telling Marquez to throw the right uppercut and follow with the left hook.
I'm not sure I've seen either fighter throw an uppercut in this fight.
Nope, they've all been outside.
Well, it's hard to fight when you're at long range. I mean, to throw that punch at long range.
Right, neither guy's bending in there, leaving himself open for an uppercut.
Marquez might try to close that gap a little bit more this round. Last 2 rounds he has not been able to score really effectively. Orlando mounting a good defense.
Marquez may be a little uncomfortable, feeling like he's having to lead. I think he'd like for Salido to come at him a little bit more so he can counter.
Orlando not wanting to wade in, though. A little bit of a sparring session going on right now. Before he throws an uppercut, he's got him in a position to have it there. There he tried his short one right there.
Marquez won the championship, his first championship, the IBF title. He defeated the longtime Mexican champion Manuel Medina, just completely devastated him here in Las Vegas in a fight. Then with the fight with Gainer that we referred to, he added the WBA title to his list as well.
Champ working hard on that exchange. Well, he felt avoided. He wanted to fight along the line against Prince Hamed, and that went to Barrera, unfortunately for Hamed.
Well, I always felt that had Juan Manuel Marquez gotten the shot first against Hamed, that he would have done the same thing that Barrera did to him. I championed Marquez's cause long ago when Hamed it was a shameful dodging of Marquez. It was 2 years as mandatory challenger and #1 ranked in the WBO, and he did everything but buy off the organization to keep from to keep from having to defend against Marquez. And then he went on and finally fought Barrera, and he was blown out of there. It was a big embarrassment for Hamed, who quite obviously has not been that anxious about returning to action since.
Well, the style that Marquez fights is pretty much the style that Barrera used to beat Hamed, and you can understand why Hamed's camp avoided Marquez for so many years.
Good body shots from the champ. Final seconds. I don't know, guys. Orlando's going to have to do a little bit more than he's doing, if he can. That's the question. Can he do it? He's not too rattled, though.
I'm not sure he can do it, though. I think this is as good as Salido's going to get.
Yep.
He's going to barely lose each round. As it goes on, it appears to be the case.
¿Qué es lo que se va a hacer? No lo esté siguiendo, no lo esté siguiendo.
It's just so hard to get an advantage on Marquez.
Yeah, he's just so powerful when he counters you, you know, he takes the steam out of you.
Hey. No lo cierres. No vayas al choque con él, ya está buscando meterte a las cuerdas. Levanta la cabeza. Cierra el ojo.
He's trying to go inside on you. Be careful with your head. Don't clash heads.
Seconds out.
Cierra los ojos. Vivo, no choca contigo.
Rich Murata with the excellent interpretation of the Spanglish language in the corner.
Well, thank you.
Round 6. If it the point is, you're making Lester. That's maybe all we're going to get out of him tonight, but he's not winning rounds. Orlando Salido.
Well, he's going to have to take some chances here sometime soon. He's going to have to step it up and take a chance.
Funny thing is, Lester, he's always been in there against good competition. He's always in exciting fights, but I almost feel like he's a little intimidated by Marquez's reputation coming in here. He's a little reticent about letting go with his best stuff.
Well, he's been tentative all night, and I think that's probably a result that Marquez is just a step above what he's been fighting. Although he's been fighting good fighters, Marquez is just a notch above him, and it's making it difficult for him.
Oh, good body
You can
shot.
watch all the tape you want on a guy like Marquez and think you walk in with a plan to beat him, but to execute that plan is very, very tough.
Especially after the first time you get hit with a real hard shot.
Exactly.
And you realize what he's got. You don't know what he's got till he hits you. And he's got a lot in this division.
He's not a one-dimensional fighter. He uses both hands very well. Like Rich said, he can counter, he can lead if he needs to. There are just many.
Well, one interesting facet of that, Lester, is one of the very few criticisms I ever hear about Marquez is that Nacho Beristain has turned him into too much of a technical fighter. In many of his first few years in the ring when he was fighting for foreign boxing, he was an exciting. He wasn't a brawler, but I mean he was in exciting blowout fights where guys were really letting their hands go.
Well, this is probably a more effective style for him. Certainly one that when you fight at the championship level, the object is to win and hold that title. And
oh, there's a big uppercut that just missed from the champion.
The better the fighter you're fighting, the better your technique needs to be.
Salido is trying to pick up the pace. You see he's backing Marquez up here now, and he just landed a hard right.
Well, landed a hard right on Marquez. And as Nacho was saying in the corner, watch out for the clash of heads, because when Orlando leans in, there's another right hand for Orlando Salido. Marquez comes immediately right back over the top.
This is the risk I was talking about earlier in the round that Salido needed to start taking. He's got to be careful because he's going to walk into something big if he's not careful.
Well, he has awakened as far as the necessity to throw punches, and he's rattled Marquez a couple times with good, sharp right hands.
Now, the good news, he's here to win.
They could gain some confidence from those shots he got in. Like I said, they've got to be careful not to clash heads, because when Orlando goes in like right there, the heads come awfully close. Good solid punching from the champ. Nice jab. Final seconds.
Best round for Salido of the fight.
I think well, there's a good counter from Marquez is quick. There's no two ways about it.
Yep.
Hey, vaselina, primero vaselina. La vaselina. Ok, muy bien. Tranquila la respiración. Que no es un peleador fuerte y además vivo. Escúchame, gracias. Siempre.
Y en la panza, cuando se pueda parar.
He's a strong fighter, Juan. He's a live fighter.
Cierra los ojos.
You can't miss. You can't miss this guy. Well, he certainly landed a couple of big rights in that last round.
Sure did. And maybe he'll grow some confidence from that.
I think by far the best round for Salido the last round.
Round 7 is scheduled for 12. The champions in the black trunks, Juan Manuel Marquez, who had quite a test back in this very arena back in May of this year when he was dropped 3 times in the first round by Manny Pacquiao and saved his belt.
By the way,
good
here tonight,
counterpunch.
Pacquiao is here tonight watching this. And that third knockdown, too, in that first round, Alan, I did not think that Marquez was getting up.
Oh, it was a stunner to everybody here.
The referee could have very well stopped the fight right there.
How he survived, we'll never know, but survive he did.
I wonder what Pacquiao's thinking. You think he's wanting to fight Marquez again? You think he's wanting to fight the winner of Eric Morales and Barrera?
I think that's where he's going.
That's where the money's at.
Yeah.
I don't think it's in the rematch with Marquez. That was a very difficult fight for Pacquiao.
Well, Pacquiao certainly gives them what they want, that's for sure. He doesn't come to box and counterpunch.
I tell you, money means a whole lot more than revenge in this business.
That's for sure. Salido has not followed up on his round 6, and there's some great punches from Marquez showing his speed and his accuracy.
Well, I'll tell you, amazingly, Salido just stays in there and fights back.
Yeah, he stayed right in front of him.
He's actually a little bit better defensive fighter than you might think. I mean, he's getting hit with a lot of shots, but he's also slipping some of those up close, too.
Almost had a clash of heads there.
You know, neither fighter has established any kind of a body attack.
That's correct.
This fight.
Absolutely, and it's so surprising because they both are good body punchers.
And every time I mention somebody's not throwing a body punch,
but they throw it.
They throw one. I've mentioned it twice, and there's been like 2 body shots landing the whole fight.
You've heard of Murphy's Law. That's Lester's Law.
Lester's Law.
Right.
Coming up on about the last half minute of this round, and by this point, they pretty much know each other. I think Orlando's more confident in the last 2 rounds. He just can't do anything about it.
He's just outmatched skill-wise a little bit.
Yeah, speed-wise and power-wise, but he's a good fighter. Good body punch there from Marquez. That's some good body shots from Orlando coming off his jab. Now, if he'd work like that in the next round, he could pick it up a little bit. You see him triple up his jab there, fellas?
That could be very effective if he brings something behind it.
Bring something behind it.
He's got to bring something big behind that jab. Like a nice right hand.
Pero casi todas se agacha tantito y te la hace fallar. Entonces empieza tu discusión. Agua.
They told Marquez in the corner, put more pressure on, but you're winning the fight.
Un poquito más de presión. ¿Te sientes bien?
Put more pressure on him.
Sí. No mucho. Bueno.
Sí, y hágalo que quiera, tú la pelea la vas ganando, pero no debes dejar que se te salga de la bragueta en un momento.
Don't let the crowd get to you, Juan. You're winning the fight.
Vivo, no te llegue a las cuerdas.
Hard to believe, though, that they're booing tonight when he's been. The last fight was fight of the year in a bloody, savage brawl.
Yeah.
And I think this has been a very good fight. I don't think that it's been the type of fight that the crowd should be booing.
Very good technical fight.
Right. I mean, you haven't seen those big, hard exchanges where both fighters are rocked and hurt. But, you know, it's certainly not the type of fight that either guy's running or not throwing punches.
He's still trying to find a way. Orlando's still trying to figure it out. Oh, there goes the attack from Juan Manuel Marquez. He can really hop on you fast, like a cobra.
You know, it was interesting that Nacho Beristain even brought it up, not to pay attention to the crowd, because really the crowd, although they booed periodically, it's not like it's been overwhelming. But Nacho wants him to stay within himself and just fight his fight, not try to get too brave.
He said he's
because the crowd wants him to fight.
He said he's winning. How do you guys have it through 7?
Well, I have Marquez up 68-65. That would be 5 rounds to 2 so far over Salido.
Right, and I have a 69-64. Rich has Salido winning 2 rounds. I have him winning 1 round.
Oh, good combination inside, snapping Orlando's head back.
But you know, even though the scores are wide, the margin is wide here. Every round is, you know, Marquez has barely been winning the rounds. It's not like he's winning by wide margins each round. Salido's just fighting good enough every round to lose.
You notice Marquez, when he lands the combinations the way that he did and one about 30 seconds ago, straight punches, crisp,
sharp.
Every once in a while he winds up that bolo over the top of that right hand. It's not textbook, but every once in a while you'll see some guy get knocked out with that overhand right just loops over the top.
Orlando trying to dig in there a little bit, but it's tough. It's tough territory right there. Marquez hits him with the right hand.
You know, for many years of Marquez's pro career, almost up to the time of his first title shot with Freddie Norwood, he continued working full-time in Mexico. He was an accountant for the government in Mexico, and he continued to work all that time, which is probably, you know, a good idea for most boxers, where nothing comes certain.
You know what? I think it makes them better fighters too. It makes them hungrier. You know, and if they get to the point to where they don't have to work anymore, and they're doing well enough as a fighter to make a living, I just think that they're hungrier. And instead of somebody paying them a salary, where they don't have to work as hard and they don't have to go out and get a job, you know, that makes you fight a little bit harder, I think.
If you missed it early tonight when we came to the arena, we found out that Oscar De La Hoya has a cut on his hand. Let's go to Larry Merchant, who's talking to the doctor.
Jim, I'm with Dr. Biff McCann, who is the surgeon with the team of Oscar De La Hoya. Would you explain to us first what happened to his hand and what you had to do to it?
Well, they were cutting the tape off his hand, and the scissors caught him just like that. Created a V-shaped cut right here. They called me, I believe it was Wednesday night, and I just took him up to my office and closed his wound.
How many stitches?
11.
Would this affect him in this fight?
It shouldn't. It's in the place it is in his palm. It's not going to cause him any discomfort.
He had to take a painkiller that is illegal. Is that out of his system?
It should be.
Has he taken any painkillers to your knowledge since that time?
Not to my knowledge.
There was a dispute just moments ago about the hand wrap around his hand. Would you describe it?
Well, to my understanding, there was some swelling related to the injection that I performed whenever I sewed his laceration, and they were concerned about taping all the way over that. I don't think it's a major problem, honestly.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Jim?
All right, back to the action here.
Boy, the subplots just continue, and as if this fight needed any more.
I'll tell you, that guy didn't look like the doctor to me. Looked like he just walked off the blackjack table.
Well, it's Vegas. What can I say?
What kind of scrubs were those?
This is Vegas, baby.
Oh, man.
Can't fool me. I know a doctor when I see one.
But it does add really a bit of intrigue here, and it is a situation that you've got to take into account here tonight.
Marquez digging to the body.
Could those stitches lead to bleeding in the hand? Could it cause him some pain when he's throwing punches?
Well, like we said earlier, there's a precedent for it that old Vic Valentino had his fight stopped in the 5th round. They said the blood just filled up the glove. Who knows? Maybe it could happen to Oscar De La Hoya tonight. Let's hope not.
And more importantly, how's it going to affect him mentally? I mean, you trained so hard to get to this point, something freakish like that happens.
Clash of heads right there.
I've been waiting for it. As Orlando tries to step up the action, it becomes more and more dangerous for these two in the clash of heads.
Rich, do you remember Marquez cutting earlier in his career or throughout his career?
Not really, no. But he certainly was a bloody mess against Pacquiao.
Oh, yeah. We're round 9 here, folks, scheduled for 12. I think the challenger, Salido in the blue trunks, is trying to step it up as best he can because he knows he's losing this fight. Easier said than done when you're up against a great champion like Marquez.
Marquez has been susceptible to knockdowns, but Gerald Pinckney knocked him down early in his career. Freddie Norwood knocked him down in their title fight.
Those are two pretty good punches, though. Pinckney had a bad record, but the one thing he could do was punch.
That's right.
And he would knock down anybody. I don't care who it was. I had a fighter one time, Louis Leha, Jesse James Leha's cousin, was 14-0, and Gerald Pinckney with about a 19-15 record knocked Louis Leha out with one punch. And so if he knocked down Marquez, I'm not surprised by that. But the key is Marquez always gets up.
Yep.
Been in no danger of going down in this fight. Hardly been hurt at all.
Again, it looks here as though Salido wants to step up the pace here again. In that one round, a couple of rounds back, it was round number 6 where he fought so well. He had that appearance to him when he came out, picking it up.
He's starting to attack the body a little bit too.
Yeah, that was a good job there by Orlando Salido. End of round 9. This one from the get-go had the looks of one that might go the distance, but we're going to go to the 10th for sure.
Okay, respira. Abajo. Respira.
Ok. Trata de cuando tires tu derecha, cierra con la izquierda, devuélvete con la izquierda y empieza a trabajar los pasos laterales. Desconcéntralo, sácalo.
When you throw your right hand, close off with the left hand, finish up with the left.
Tres hay que ganarlos, sí. Quedan 3 nada más. Si no ganamos estos 3, ya no somos campeones. Hay que ganarlos.
Hay que cerrar fuerte.
Estos 3 hay que ganarlos a fuerza.
You'll be champion soon. A couple more rounds, you'll be champ.
Agua.
Gana estos 3 y vienes.
Is he sure about that?
Interesting.
I'm a little confused here.
They feel, apparently they feel he's winning in the corner.
I think that's some bad advice.
I think it is too.
I think I would be urging my fighter to get out there and get everything he has. He's going to have to knock this guy out to win in my book.
10th round.
It's like no urgency at all.
No urgency at all. And he needs some.
I can tell you if the shoe was on the other foot, Nacho Beristain would be down Marquez's throat right now.
No kidding. I think you hit it on the head, Lester. I mean, he was doing just enough not to win a round. One may have won a couple, but
he's going to have to hurt Marquez down the stretch here to get back into the fight, because he's not going to win it on points at this point.
well, the Grand Garden Arena is just about full right now as people anticipate the big fight of the evening. And it will be electrifying in here, I can guarantee that.
It's going to be hard for this crowd to get excited about anything in this fight, simply because they're here for one reason. It's not Juan Manuel Marquez and Orlando Salido.
No.
We're here to see Oscar De La Hoya and Bernard Hopkins.
Orlando looked pretty good on that exchange, he just didn't do any damage. I really don't see how his corner could give him that advice, though.
Salido needs to put 4 or 5 punches together. He's too many 1s and 2s, and he's not catching Marquez open, so he's going to have to load up on his combination.
Yeah, but he doesn't seem to feel, and his corner's not telling him to do that, Lester. So they're not feeling that there's that urgency. They're not feeling that he needs to load up. They're telling him in the corner, in a couple more rounds, you're champ. Keep doing what you're doing.
Champion of what? That's what my question is. He's going to be the champion of almost won a couple of rounds in the fight.
I love that overhand right that Marquez throws. Oh, he just caught Salido inside.
But you know, Salido caught him back, though.
Caught him back on the counter. Trying to dig to the body when he had Marquez on the ropes.
Once Salido lands a good punch, he leaves it alone. He doesn't come back with anything else. And I really think that Salido would let his hands go if his corner would urge him. If they could express the urgency of needing to win some rounds and win them big, maybe he would let those hands go.
Round 10 just about done.
Tiempo.
This will be interesting. There's Bernard. I guess he's watching the fight, or maybe he's in kind of a trance right now, getting himself ready. The executioner getting ready to go to work.
I'll tell you, he came out for that weigh-in yesterday, and the fans were all booing him. And he just made his X of his executioner sign in front of him, just to egg him on a little. There's the right hand by Marquez. There's that lead right you love so much. Yeah. And in this case, we saw Salido countering well.
Salido's had his moments in the fight, but the problem is he's just had too little. He needs a knockout right here.
Seconds out.
We go to round 11. From the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas, Juan Manuel Marquez so far has successfully defended his title. Now Salido's picking it up a little bit, then he just backs off. I tell you what, he's going to have to do something big.
Marquez is content to just ride it out, it looks like. He's not going to take any risk here at this point.
Well, he's got superior skills. He knows that.
Right. There's no need in him going in and taking a risk of getting knocked out here, because one thing that Salido can do is punch a little bit. More important than winning over the fans tonight is winning the fight, period.
Maybe after the Pacquiao fight, they said to Marquez, you know, what's the old saying? Win tonight, look great next time.
Right.
It's pretty much the same pattern throughout.
I do think it's very possible, though, that the experience of the Pacquiao fight could have made Marquez himself a little more cautious fighter here tonight.
Yeah, it looks like it may have.
You guys feel like Marquez could have done, he could do more if he wanted to, in other words, right?
Well, I've seen him do more, and I don't think he's anywhere past his prime, so I would say yes.
Well, he's got a great corner. Nacho knows what he's doing, to say the least.
I think Salido's just good enough that you have to be cautious with him.
Yeah.
You can't just go in there winging and leave yourself open and take a chance of getting knocked out, because he is a good enough puncher, and if he catches you with a good shot, he can hurt you.
Amazing that Marquez's brother, Rafael, his whole reputation is not having that technique. He loses lots of rounds, falls behind fighters, and then has that big shot.
That's what he did with Mark Johnson. He did it with Tim Austin. Came back to win those fights.
Good exchange there, both sides. They both paid a price in there that time. That's about the best Salido's going to do, is earn a draw in one of those situations. Because he doesn't have the power that Marquez has.
A few more of those exchanges might have really turned on the crowd here tonight.
Yeah, that been few and far between. So we will go to round 12 and see what they have to say for themselves.
Tiene que cerrar fuerte, 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 arrollar.
Último round.
Arrollar. Bien cubierto.
Último round.
Be aggressive in this round. Don't go slow.
Pero tú ya debes empezar a hacer todo lo que puedas tener de arriba hacia abajo los golpes. No los tienes por arriba, de arriba hacia abajo, para que lleguen a su objetivo y sobraditos.
Último round.
Okay.
You're winning the fight, but you still got to go out there and close strong.
Para allá, para cerrar.
Chao. Chao.
Cuídate de la derecha.
Let's close nicely. Come on.
En el centro, el ritmo va a estar. De ahí, combinaciones.
Seconds out.
And final round.
Venga, venga.
They will touch gloves and come out for the 12th round. Orlando Salido, according to our cards, is well behind in this fight. But Nacho Bear State, oh, good right hand from the champion. Is telling his champion to go out and finish strong, and Marquez seems to be doing just that. The fastest pace of the fight so far here in the final round.
Maybe Salido has finally gotten it that, hey, look, I'm way behind here. If I don't knock this guy out, it's over.
It's hard to knock out this guy.
Rich, didn't you sense that even though Nacho was telling him to go out and finish strong, he didn't want him to finish too strong? He didn't say go out and knock this guy out.
Yeah, it's like, let's close nicely.
Yeah, let's don't get stupid. Nacho likes to finish them respectable, but he doesn't want to finish them stupid.
No, not on their back. Right hand gets to Salido. The challenger has about a minute and a half to shock the world here, and so far he's been unable to do it, but he bounced off those ropes there.
Salido's not going to win this fight tonight, but he acquitted himself well here, I think. I think it's about what everybody expected. Maybe they expect a little closer fight, but just the opportunity to fight for the title with the kind of record he has, I think he's acquitted himself very well.
Good exchange there. I think the champ got the better of it.
I don't
50 seconds left.
Rich, I don't think this affects Marquez's value. Any do you?
Not really, other than perhaps had he been in another sensational fight, he might have upped himself into a different level insofar as money, future money earnings goes.
That was a good combination for the champ.
Unfortunately, the Pacquiao fight is still fresh on everybody's memory. I think that's what they're going to remember about Juan Manuel Marquez here in the near future.
Been a good round for the champ. Showing what skills he has, superior skills obviously to Orlando Salido. Final 10 seconds of this championship fight. Oh, almost got caught. Marquez almost got caught.
Now they start fighting.
Now they start fighting. Tiempo. That was fun for the 10 seconds.
Which is better than 0 seconds.
Yeah, we got 10 seconds out of it.
Well, we should have seen more of that earlier in the fight. I would have liked to have seen these two guys really could have had a lot more crisp exchanges. They're carrying Salido around the ring like they feel they have the new champion.
Or maybe they're just glad he survived it.
Well, he fought like he wanted to survive it.
Been training in the La Brea gym in Los Angeles. Big gym, good gym, a lot of fighters there. The Klitschko's work there.
We'll be awaiting the decision. It shouldn't be close. But what do I know? Stranger things have happened. Salido got his shot tonight.
Well, I think he deserved a shot because he came up the hard way, fought a lot of good fighters. Round 2 action saw Marquez picking it up. Round 4, there you see combination punching from the champion after a pretty good third round by Salido. Round 6, Salido came on very strong. Had a good round in the 6th round and nailed Marquez with a couple of good rights. 8th round, Marquez putting his punches together once again. Then in the 10th, it was still Juan Manuel Marquez. You can see knocking him off balance as the fight wound down. It was sure that Salido needed to put it on. He tried to pick up the pace there a little bit. And the 12th and final round, nice nice exchange and a good, exciting finish to the fight between the two.
Ladies and gentlemen, we go to the scorecards here at the MGM Grand. Dwayne Ford has it 118 to 110. Glenn Hamada 117 to 111. Raul Caiz 117 to 111 for the winner by unanimous decision. Still the WBA IBF featherweight champion of the world, Juan Manuel Marquez.
Well, just a night of hard work for the champ.